Hello National 5, in this video we are going to be talking about JavaScript. By the end of this video you will have developed a basic knowledge and understanding of JavaScript. You'll be able to explain what JavaScript is and the purpose of it. You'll also be able to explain and identify how different JavaScript functions work and the impact that they will have on an HTML document. Let's just recap where we've come from in this unit so far. So we've started out with HTML and we have implemented HTML, and that sets out where the content is going to be and the layout and the structure of the page. We then moved on to CSS, and CSS adds a bit of style and makes our pages look a little bit better by adding colors and fonts, etc., etc. And we've implemented pages that utilize both HTML and CSS. JavaScript is behavioral. It adds interactivity to our website. It makes our website dynamic and we can change it. Now, unlike HTML and CSS, which are very good at implementing, we're not expecting you to be able to implement any JavaScript. You just need to be able to identify and describe it. We save the implementation for hire. So JavaScript adds interactivity to a website, makes that website a little bit more exciting. So if we look at this example here, the mouse pointer moves over that button that says turn on light, the image changes so it's on, and when we click off, it changes back so that it is off. And that is JavaScript that is driving that interactivity. It looks like the light's lighting up, but what is actually happening is the picture is actually changing when I click on the button. So JavaScript works with events. The user has to do something, and as a result of the user doing something, an action takes place. So the different events are onmouseover, so when the mouse goes over something, an action will take place. Onmouseout, when the mouse moves away from an area, an action will take place. Or onclick, when the user clicks with the mouse on an area, something will happen. So if we have a look at an example here, we've got an ID down here, and that ID is in heading 1, and it says onclick text change. Okay, this is the event. This is what's going to take place, and this here's the action because of that event. And if we look at the function where that action is defined, that action is going to change the font, the text, to say something different. So if we just come out this PowerPoint and we'll have a look at this actually taking place. So here we have this code loaded up in a browser, and we have this ID that says watch me change. So when I click on that, that event has happened, and as a result of that event, the action has also taken place, and the action is to say, look, I've changed. We've got another heading 1 down here that says, I'm magic, I change colour. And that is here on line 29. And when we look at line 29, it's got the ID colour, and we have got a mouse over and a mouse out event. And the on mouse over event, the action of that is colour red. So if we have a look at our function, colour red is going to change the colour of the ID to red, and it just so happens that our heading has got that color ID. And when the action event, on mouse out, is going to change the color to blue as the action, and we can see it change. So when I go over it, I change it to red, and when I come back out of it, I change it to blue. So this is how the 3 different events take place. The on click, I click on it. The on mouse over, the mouse goes over it, and the on mouse out, the mouse comes away from it. So as I said, you're not going to be expected to write or implement JavaScript. You just need to be able to identify and describe it. So with the task along with this video, we've given you some JavaScript, and we'd like you to be able to explain it. So let's have a look at this page here. I'm just going to come out the PowerPoint, and we're going to load up the live version of it. So here we have a heading that says, move your mouse here. What I would like to know is how's the JavaScript been applied to the heading that says, move your mouse here. Okay, pause your video and see if you can identify how the JavaScript has been applied to this heading. And then once you've written it down, play the video and I'll let you know how it has been applied. So the heading 1, move your mouse here, has been given the ID question 4. It has also got 2 JavaScript events, onmouseover and onmouseout. When my mouse moves over it, the action is I'm going to change the words. So let's have a look at the function. Change words has been applied to the ID question 4, and it's going to change it to say out. It's going to change the color to style white and the background black. So that is how the JavaScript has been applied on the mouse over event. And rightly enough, when I move over, it changes to say out. Now, because of the on mouse out, when I move away, it's going to change again. So the on mouse out has the change back action. The change back action has been again applied to the ID question 4, which is going to change the text to say that's better, the colour to red, and the background colour to yellow. And we've already seen that happen. When I go over, it says ouch in black, and I come back off it, and it changes to say that's better in red and yellow. So that is how the JavaScript has been applied to this heading. And here we just have a wee text description of what I've just said of how the JavaScript has been applied to that heading. So you can have a wee read of that if you wish. Attached to this video, there is a Repel It project. And in that Repel It project, there's a couple of JavaScript files within HTML and a wee task sheet that asks you to describe how the JavaScript has been utilised. So there we have it. That is how JavaScript works with an HTML document. You should now be able to identify JavaScript in the main mouse events. You should be able to explain the impact that those events and actions have on an HTML document.